craves not these things.
Shirt off. God.
You have been trying that Jedi mind trick on me since the 8th grade. It doesn't work.
Oh, it works.
If you only knew the power of the dark side. Excitement. Jedi craves not these things.
Hey, everybody. Hello. Welcome back to Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. We've got a guest with us,
I'm a guest.
and it's official.
It's official. I've been haunting this show on and off. You might have heard me in the background.
Yeah. You know, he's the ghost of the studio.
The phantom of the studio.
Yeah. Scotty White.
Hey, it's me, Scotty White.
And then, of course, I'm your host, Caleb, and my co-host, Seth.
Yep.
And this week, we brought you on so we could talk some Rebels.
Yeah, Star Wars Rebels is kind of my passion. If you see the studio, I have lots of Rebels things around here. I love Rebels.
Because we've discussed this a little bit on and off podcast, off air, that it's the show that brought you back into Star Wars.
So yeah, I was done. I was out. I was in college, and you have to understand. So I was born in '77, and I have for those who are born the year of, we are kind of saturated in our DNA with Star Wars. The merchandising was everywhere, the advertisements were everywhere, the movies were everywhere, and so growing up, that was like all the influence with Star Wars. Because even after that movie, everybody wanted to make their own Star Wars, so everything has a Star Wars influence to it, and so you just couldn't escape it. And so I was a fan. I was a big fan. And then the prequels happened, and I hate the time. I have grown to appreciate the prequels as I gotten older, because like at 20, I was like, I don't really care about taxation and blockades and stuff. Darth Maul was cool,
Yeah.
But. Now I'm like, after paying taxes and stuff, it's like, I get it a lot.
I get why that war happened.
I get that. And then I was in college. I went to college late in life, and I was kind of done. It was kind of a thing I finally, it's a list of movies. Like, I enjoyed those, but I wasn't as much as my identity.
Mm-hmm.
And then Star Wars, Clone Wars didn't grab me because, I wasn't really a prequels guy. And then I heard about Star Wars Rebels, and I was like, oh, it's pre-Empire, but it's post-Clone Wars. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so I downloaded the Disney XD app on my iPad, and that's how I watched it. And I watched the first episode, which is the two. It was an hour long at the time.
Yeah, it's a two-parter.
Two-parter. And I was like, what is this? Because it looked like to me like the Adventures of Space Aladdin.
Which I'm on board for, but it's a hard sell.
But
it's a hard sell.
But like the first thing he does is when he goes steals those melons and stuff. It's like one jump ahead of the breadline. Da da da. I don't know the rest of the words, but it's just like, and I'm watching him going, oh, and then I watched it and I was like, is this what this show's going to be about? I don't know if I'm in.
And then you hit episode 3.
And then 3, which is really silly.
Because episode 2. Because we're gonna call the two-parter one episode.
Yeah, I always call it two-part one episode.
So episode 2 is basically droids, Star Wars droids.
Yeah, episode 2 is basically what spin-off shows do. It's like, oh, by the way, do you remember these two famous stars who are not the stars, but they're in these characters?
Yeah, C-3PO
and they're gonna make a cameo, and so it's Star Wars and where we're at. And I'm like, okay, and it's fine.
And in a way, it's also set up for future stuff because we get Bell at the end.
Yeah, but we don't.
But we don't know that.
We don't know that watching it. And then 3 is this weird episode of like Ezra and Zeb have to work together to steal a TIE fighter. And it turns out to be funny and clever and very, very sweet.
And you get a lot of character development.
Yeah, a lot of, and so I'm like, oh, I see this as, it's still kind of kiddie-ish, but but Star Wars is, and so I'm not. And then from then on, it just build up. And then there's the Lando episode that was sealed the deal because I'm a Lando fan. So,
yeah.
And Billy D coming back, and it was a great episode.
Yeah.
But what really made Star Wars Rebels my Star Wars, and here's my controversial statement, is that I like Rebels more than like any of the movies, any other property. Like, it is my Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Because to me, it is the adventures that I had with my friends as a kid playing our action figures or playing pretend in the backyard. We were playing Rebels.
Yep.
That's basically what we were doing. And so I just identified with that. But season 2 comes on, and it's like Filoni the game's like, wait, no one's really watching this, right? So we're just going to do really hardcore stuff, like including blind our main character and bring in Jedi, and we'll just cut people in half and chop people's heads off. And I'm like, I'm like, this is a kid's show?
Season 1, they start cutting people off because the Inquisitor cuts off the 2 Imperials heads.
Right. I'm just like, woo, I'm and then then Thrawn came in 3, and I'm just obsessed. If you've not watched Rebels, I'm sorry I spoiled a little bit for you, but if you've not watched Rebels, it's on Disney Plus. It is well worth the watch. It is all the joy and love of the original film. It's like a beautiful love letter.
And there's multiple reasons to watch it again because
so good.
Ahsoka's coming out, and we were discussing that you want to do a rewatch.
Yeah, so Caleb and I host a show called My Star Wars Life, and we're coming back soon. We're going to start doing Andor recaps, and the reason why we're kind of seasonal because the fact there's we're not on top of all the Star Wars news because we really just like cover the visual stuff. And so Andor's coming back, but I got really thinking about I really like Rebels. I want to revisit, and Seth's not seen it, so this is going to be an interesting conversation today. Yeah. And so I'm going to invite you to come on and do a week by week watch with us.
All right.
And you might hopefully fall in love with it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see.
I fell hard in love with it.
So speaking of news, there's a lot today because today is the second day of D23.
D23.
One of the days where Disney's like, here's all this stuff we're going to work on.
Yeah. Here's all the lovely gifts for you, the fans. And while they didn't show everything, like they didn't do a live stream for it, they were nice enough to give us the trailer still, which I appreciate that. And so we got some news about, let's start at the beginning. I think the first thing they talked about was Andor. So that's coming out in a couple weeks.
Or as Skill and Skarsgård says, Ander, you're gonna be a spy for us, Ander. I know that's not. I don't know why it just sounds like he's from Atlanta.
That's where they shot it. So.
Ander, y'all, you got to go find me a Saul Guerrero.
I mean, that's probably where they shot it, anyways. At least some of it.
So there's no O. There's no E in my name.
There's an O.
Andor.
I want an entire scene of them just discussing that. But no, so we got a final trailer, which we've kind of already seen this trailer, sort of, but with some few extra clips.
It's a couple little clips. It's the comfort trailer.
Yeah, so this is coming out September 21st, so like I said, in a couple, very soon, it's coming up.
And we'll cover it on My Star Wars Life.
And we'll cover it eventually when it's over.
I'm excited for Andor.
I'm excited for an espionage show.
Which has surprised me because I'm not the biggest fan of Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
Rogue One's fine. It's not one I go back and rewatch. And so when they announced Andor, I was like, who asked for this show? And then they showed the first trailer and went, oh, I should have asked for the show. I'm in. I like the idea of a Star Wars spy thriller. The guy made it as the guy did
From
the
Bourne
Legacy, so I'm like...
not the best of the Bourne films, but still.
Sure, it's a Bourne film. I'm down with it.
Yeah.
Andor's Jason Bourne.
Yeah. And then, of course, we're getting Mon
Bourne.
Mothma content, which we talked about last week, how there's not enough Mothma.
Go Mothma.
Apparently, we're going to get hints of her marriage because she was married during this time.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Look at there.
And so we're going to find out what happened to her husband. Probably didn't end well.
Dead like all the rest of your friends.
It'd be really cool if you instead of died, just went hardcore Imperial.
Yeah.
He's like, baby, I'm going to be a moth.
What?
The Emperor is going to make me a moth.
A moth.
No, that's the reaction.
Oh yeah. What? Excuse me?
I'm going to go moth it up over here.
What?
I guess we can talk about it. We didn't watch you watched the trailer, but we did.
I'll talk about it.
Willow.
Willow's trailer looks so awesome.
I'm excited because I'm looking at discussing films Twitter because they were live tweeting since it wasn't live streamed.
I think Cult Movie's going to do a side thing with Willow because Justina, our other podcast, Cult Movie Cantina, where me and
she hasn't seen the first one.
Well, no, she's seen the first one.
Yeah.
She likes Willow.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which surprised me. It's not. Yeah, she's our friend Justina who hosts the Cult Movie Cantina with us. Isn't one who's seen lots of movies. And she really likes that one, and it made me kind of think about doing a side thing with this because I think it's only 6 episodes.
Yeah, it's not a lot, but
and so it'd be fun to do the movie and the episodes.
Yeah. But I'm seeing my boy Christian Slater on the slate as being in Willow.
Yeah. The thing in the trailer was the Brownies are back.
Okay.
Who were not in the original trailer that they showed at Celebration.
Yeah, the original trailer kept a lot of things close to the chest.
Yeah, but the original trailer was really good too. So it's saw the Brownies, and Willow's like, "You got to come with us." I'm like, "Yes, I need the Brownies."
All right, so we got a Bad Batch season 2 update.
So it moved from August.
It moved from August because we should have already had it.
Right to October,
I think it went to September 1st, and then it went to
October. And now it's
in January.
Now it's January.
January 14th, which just leads credence to my theory that Mando was getting moved, which we'll talk about that update as well.
How many episodes?
So it's 16, but we're getting the first 2 similar to season 1. We're getting the first 2 off the bat.
So we're getting 14, so that's 3 months. So March or April.
That's probably my prediction.
So spring, yeah.
Because Mando was supposed to be February.
So just 2 months later. That's all I can do.
It's not a huge push. We also got
so that would probably put Ahsoka in the fall.
Yeah. And Acolytes
Christmas.
probably no longer 2023.
No,
Acolytes probably
2024, yeah.
Which Acolytes is the one I'm most excited about because it's different. It's new.
It's also High Republic, right?
Yeah, it's also
the first
it's
High
the
Republic
end
days.
of the High Republic, but it's High Republic.
It's the High Republic days, yeah.
So we got all that, and then we got Tales of the Jedi trailer. It's the one I think it's what they showed at Celebration. Because actually, I don't know if they got a trailer at Celebration. They got the first 2 episodes, or the first episode.
They got the first episode, but they didn't get the trailer.
Yeah. So we got a trailer, and we also got a release date because Tales of the Jedi didn't have a release date. It's October.
Right, it's October 26th.
Yeah, and we're getting all 6 episodes, which they said that at Celebration. So
They're short. Do you know how long they are about?
they're probably no longer than 10 minutes each.
Okay.
That would be my guess. They got to be at least around Vision's length.
So like an hour?
Yeah, because Visions was similar situation where they
I'm
were
surprised
short.
there was
but
no
they
Vision
crossed them
news
off.
either, because
Because Vision's
there's just
Volume
season 2 is
2
coming out. So I guess that's next year.
Yeah.
But Baby Ahsoka looks an See, I like Star Wars marketing. I really do. Because Baby Yoda becomes this hit, right?
Yep.
And they're like, bigger than anyone else would think.
Yep.
And so they're like, what else do we have? And like, well,
What else can we babyfy?
well, what else can we babyfy? And they're like, well, Ahsoka's the biggest thing we've created since George. And they're like, cool. Let's just make her a baby. They're going to sell so many dolls of that. I will probably buy one. She's so cute.
In a
She's
few
so cute,
years,
like
in a few
trailer.
years, it'll be like the '90s. We're gonna have Star Wars babies, and
Star Wars babies.
like literally the '90s and '80s was about turning everything to babies.
babies. So the Pump Named Scooby-Doo, Flintstone Kids. Roseanne had a cartoon.
There was the Looney Tune baby show as well,
which was 90s. They had
and then Tiny Toons was '90s.
no, Tiny Toons was 90s, and just you had a property we could make it kids.
Rugrats
dude.
went the reverse route.
They did. They were like, we're gonna make them. We'll make them
We
teenagers.
started at babies, so we
So
have to
we
go.
gotta-
We have to go though. Rugrats has been back though, right? They've
Yeah,
like
they've
a
got
CGI
they got
like a
one on
CGI
Paramount. Apparently, it's not the best.
No,
but apparently, it's fine for the demographic that it's for. But
Right.
like people who grew up with it. Or
yeah. Well, of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because obviously we're not the demographic.
right.
But the Tales of the Jedi trailer looked good. Once again, my only problem is the name. But
Yeah, you want it to be.
I
all,
want it to be Tales of the Jedi. I want
like-
Old Republic.
older public stuff. You'll never
I
get.
want my Quinlan Voss.
He'll never get it.
Well,
He'll get Quinlan, but he'll
not
never.
Quinlan. Sorry. My other Q name. I'm usually good at this.
Yeah, you are actually. Am I freaking you out because you usually have you have your
My
video your TikTok people coming on.
yeah.
I mean, I can go on TikTok and be like, sing about corn. That kid is going to make so much money this year.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Ooh, Keldroma. And K Keldroma. I was
No.
thinking Keldroma, and I went Quinlan
I
Voss.
keep saying you're never the High Republic. You'll get that, but you won't get.
We will continue to disagree about that.
I will eat a shoe like Werner Herzog.
We also got images of Ahsoka. We
I'm
didn't
so
get
mad I didn't get no visuals.
Yeah, we didn't get any actual trailers or anything. We just got pictures.
But there's a great picture of Sabine in front of a live action version of the
mural.
Rebels mural she made at the end of in the coda.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, because the leading idea from fans, and I think it's basically been confirmed, but not officially, is that the coda is going to be the start of the Ahsoka show.
well, yeah, I said that early.
Yeah.
Like we talked about this
Yeah, we
on
talked
My
about
Star
it.
Wars Life, and after the Jedi episode, I was like, I'm convinced that the Jedi episode of Mandalorian season 2 is
before the
right
coda.
before the coda. She finds out where he's going to be. She goes to Luke for something. I don't know what. She's there. She's with Luke for a purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and that purpose is to serve whatever the show because it's not random. It's just too random for her to be there, and so there's got to be a reason. Not to be like, we need you as a cameo to save this Boba Fett show.
No, it's
so she got to be there for a reason. So.
yeah. And then we got an image from Skeleton Crew of Jude Law being Jude Law. He's in front of he's in front of a door probably because he's got the door, the security, the Star Wars version of a the Star Wars version of a ring cam.
Okay, I have no idea what you're saying. It's Huttese. I don't speak it.
I used to have a book that could translate.
All I know is De Wano Hanga.
Yeah.
De Wano Wago.
And then Jon Favreau talked about that he brought John Watts on to do the show after working on Spider-Man with them.
That's cool.
So that's why they brought him on, which also confirms that this is definitely part of the Mandoverse. I think they talked about that.
Yeah, it's in the same time period. It's a good place for them to hang out.
The Mando era, yeah. And then we got season 3 trailer, which was the one they showed at Celebration with a few extra clips.
Yeah.
And I thought that was good. And
so is in that clip, is the armor telling him that he's a Mando no more, or is that just a clip from the second season? Because I'm like,
I think that's a clip from the second
I'm
season.
keep going like, why are you telling me this? I know I'm not Mando. I got to go to the lands of Mandalore.
That's a clip from the second season. And then discussing film still puts the February date on it, but the trailer that says just next year.
It says 2023, which still could happen. So.
It still could, but I would think if they were pushing for that February date still, they would have put it there.
Well, I mean, Marvel had a couple of, I think, What If overlapped with a live-action show, and...
Yeah, because What If overlapped with, was it Falcon?
No, Loki, I think. Loki was after Falcon.
Oh, yeah, Loki. It was...
So, I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't overlap, so, but...
And then they got Indy 5 first look there.
I'm tired of seeing that image. They should show new images.
Which apparently made Harrison cry on stage.
Poor Harrison.
And then they got a live performance of Rogers the Musical.
Rogers the Musical made me cry.
They can do it all day.
I should have been Indiana Jones and since I didn't kill my wife.
Yeah, it is. He was doing this bit before we went live.
I feel terrible, Harrison Ford. To do Harrison Ford, you just kind of just mumble and get as deep as you get.
I mean, I talked about it last week. Last week.
Right.
And that basically the best way to get Han Solo specifically is to, if you're gonna not copy Han Solo specifically, but pick a different Harrison Ford film, it's Air Force One.
Get off my plane.
Which is kind of what Mark Thompson does.
Get off my plane. I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. God, Fugitive is so good.
But let's...
Because you get two... Sorry, you get two... Welcome to the Fugitive Talk. You get you get two curmudgeons. You get Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones out trying to curmudgeon each other.
And it's like... Because the thing is, Harrison Ford was always a curmudgeon.
And you know who wins? Tommy Lee Jones, because he got the Oscar in that. So he won the Oscar for that. All right. Sorry.
Main topic.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Because we've been... It's almost 30 minutes, so we should jump into the main topic.
Has anyone been yelling at us yet?
Not yet.
No.
Feel free to yell at us.
Yeah, feel free to...
We will take questions.
So,
Talk to us.
I'm gonna throw myself under the bus here. I learned the names of every other member of the Ghost.
All right,
But I
name
could
as
not-
many as you can right now.
Yeah, name who you got.
Let's play this
Okay.
game.
Hera's the Twi'lek woman.
Yes.
Sabine is the Mandalorian girl.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Urza is the street rat.
Ezra.
Fuck.
No, fuck is not a member of the game.
So, hold on.
No.
I lost track. So you said Hera.
He's at Ezra. I got
not
it.
Urza.
So Ezra, Hera, and...
You're playing Magic the Gathering with
Sabine.
Urza. I got you.
Yeah,
There's Kanan.
Kanan.
Gaden, yeah.
There's Chopper.
Mm-hmm.
Got one more.
Is Zeb? Look at you! Like, I got to the end of the comic, I was like, fuck, I don't know who the Lasat is. They
His
told
name.
me his name.
At least
8
you remember
times.
he's a Lasat.
Yeah.
Well, there aren't many of them left to remember.
Sick burn. Sick burn.
The
Yeah.
vampire.
Yeah, because we talked about that.
Sorry,
We talked
that's
about
cruel.
we talked about that last week because Princess and the Scoundrel has a Lasat in it,
Oh,
and
I was like,
and he's upset. And there's this like they're playing Sabacc, and it's the Lasat, Han, and this Imperial who worked on a bunch of super weapons.
right, because they all did.
And this Imperial's like talking about how he's upset because the Death Star 2 ruined his career because
well, yeah,
he was competing against the Death Star projects, and also it got blown up, so now he's fired. And so the Lasat is mad because obviously Lasat is angry that his people are dead because of the Empire.
yeah. That
But this guy just doesn't clue in.
that disruptor
Fuck
that
you,
they made
lad.
in
Yeah.
they talk about in episode 2 of the Droids in Distress.
Yep. Yep, because we get that awesome fight between Zeb and
Callus.
Callus. Yeah.
I like Callus
So does every Star Wars fan I know.
because he's awesome.
Also, there's Sexy Callus. Which Sexy Callus is so I learned this while being on the show on Pod once. Sexy Callus was an in production name. And there's a certain point where you go from Callus to Sexy Callus.
And apparently, it was a lot of money to do that, like because it's the end. There's the change in the animation stuff, so he doesn't have the helmet, and he's got the loose
The
hair,
little loose hair, yeah.
for his, and apparently that costs money to do. Like, and so,
Well, hair is expensive
so
because you got
because I mean, I'm not into guys, but like after they beat him up and he's in the elevator, he's gonna in the turbo lift, he's gonna go escape. He looks up and he's got his sexy hair. I'm like, okay, maybe, I don't know.
yeah, and also like I get it, and then it's even more of like he goes, oh, I'm gonna stay by the way because I know that I'm better off staying, and because then it gives away everything.
No, that's when he escapes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
The first-
when he actually escapes.
Yeah, the sexy Callus happens when he escapes.
Well, there's also
Because that's a 0 hour.
Oh yeah. You're right. But yeah, so it's in production. There's an act like it's not just like the fans dubbed it. No, this was an actual
And he is hot looking.
animation team name for him.
I admit, I do like Callus. Not
Because you mentioned that
because
one.
of that. I was like,
'cause-
I like you because you're evil and competent. And we see the Empire; they fuck up a lot.
Well, this is my beef with Star Wars. And it has to be this way because this is how narratives work.
Yeah.
When you're following a ragtag group of people, they always have to get away and they always have to win for the most part. And so in Rebels, they rarely lose.
Yeah.
And so Caleb.
Caleb, what have you done to the rebels?
Well, see, actually, I was thinking more of Caleb Doom.
Yeah.
But because
Kanan.
he's named after a Jedi.
Yeah.
But or a Jedi's named after him because he's
Yeah.
awesome. But Callus is so competent and like he looks like he's him and the Inquisitor know both
They
they
look
like they could do stuff and
Yeah.
like because the narrative's like, oh no, they have to screw this up. I'm like, would they?
And
Zeb should be dead like 12 times.
I will say when the Rebels team when the Ghost crew loses, it's a big loss usually.
Yeah, they make up for it in the end, like both in Twilight of the Apprentice and 0 Hour.
I mean, it's the same rule they had.
and honestly, at the last episode,
It's the same rule they had with Clone Wars, where they were like, okay, obviously they've got to win because they're the heroes, but sometimes they got to lose, and that's when we bring in the big bads.
Mhm.
And so yeah, usually when the Empire really lost, it was those two Imperial bumbling idiots. I forget their names.
yeah, Queso, they're in here.
Yeah,
They're in here.
yeah, they're in there. A few. But you mentioned that the Callus Hunt was one of your favorites
Yes.
last time we talked. Is that still true after finishing it?
Yeah. There's like 5 of them that I really like, and that one's one of them.
I like
Oresco
I like
and,
Callus's Hunt. Oh yeah, Oresco and
wherever the other guy was.
yeah.
I like Callus's Hunt too.
It's a good issue of like Callus going after one of his mentors and the kind of planting of the idea of Callus turning later. Because I think the ultimate point of him realizing he wanted to turn is in the Rebel show, obviously. Because him and Zeb get stuck on a moon together.
So should we talk about we pivot to talk about this book?
Yeah, let's talk about the book.
So, you know the origin of the book.
Yes. So originally, it was part of the Rebels magazine that ran it from like during the run of the show, and a little bit after the show finished.
Right.
It was a UK publication. It was done through the same people, Titan Magazine, so the same people that do the Insiders. And so that ran for a while, and I was keeping up with the comic part for the most part, because people would still do scans and upload them on the internet, as fans tend to do. But eventually, the publication switched to German.
Yeah,
only.
it goes to Germany, and Germany keeps because it gets canceled in the UK and it's still going strong in Germany.
Yeah, because it wasn't just in the UK, but it was Europe that was publishing it. We weren't getting it in the US. But then UK stopped. Germany kept going.
See, which is weird to me. Maybe because I guess Titan does this, right?
Yeah.
And so Marvel has the comics license at the time.
Yeah, it's Marvel and IDW.
And so I don't know why IDW didn't put this out either, but
yeah, IDW had plenty of opportunities.
So because we could have got it, but
after during the Germany run, it gets harder to find the comics, and then if you can find them, they're in German.
Right. I own a toy.
Deutsch.
I just own a toy store, and so I'm in the toy world on the internet, and someone had posted. There's a great story in here where Kanan's in a tank.
Oh yeah.
And the tank is a Kenner mini rig, and the mini rigs were like a 1980, early 80s toy line, and the idea was like, yeah, these could have been in Star Wars, but they're just off camera. And so, they had posted the couple comics. There it is. So Kanan and his, these little tanks he's in.
Yeah.
And so, that was a mini rig, and I was like, I used to have this kid, and I've been dying to see mini rigs on screen. So,
I'm trying to find my favorite, because there was one that I saw first in the German one, and then I was like, once I got to finally read it, I was like, oh yeah, this is one of my favorites. I was talking about it with you on the ride here.
I've got 5 of them that I like.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Since you know yours right off the top, let's.
Second one is Ezra is trying to. So from what I've gathered, Ezra is not very skilled with the Force.
No, he's in train. He's.
So
I
this-
assume that's
Kanan.
because he's
this
being
comic
trained.
very first season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's first, and then eventually it kind of gets later seasons because like he pointed out, he was like, yeah, where's Kanan? And then he was like, oh yeah, he's dead. Because there were certain points later on where there's no Kanan.
Oh, but do they do no kind of stuff?
Yeah, there's some no Kanan stuff. Like he's not around at all.
Yeah, like
And then there's some like stuff with Rex.
Yeah, Rex, that's season 2.
yeah. And like
The art show.
I like that one. That's another one.
Oh, one of my favorite is Too Late to Change. That's what it is. That's the one I've read in German first. Well, but I saw the art for in German because I can't read German. Also, part of the history is that they did start releasing paperback versions, but for the German version.
I'm so glad Dark Horse put this all out.
Eventually, IDW lost the license. I don't know what happened regarding that. But
it comes out of money.
Yeah.
Probably Dark Horse is like, we can do it cheaper.
But yeah, and so
It's like,
Dark Horse took IDW's part of the license, which is why now Dark Horse is going to be doing the Star Wars Adventures line,
Right.
and then also the High Republic Adventures stuff. And one of the first things that they said they were doing was this, and I was happy. Like, I got it. What's funny is a week before that happened, I was talking with Scotty about it. I was like, man, there's this really cool Rebels comic strip set that we never got. I want it. And then a week later, they're like, oh yeah, Dark Horse, now that they're in charge of the license, they're doing it.
And the moment I read, I went to Amazon, went pre-order. Click. Click. Showed up at my house. I was so excited.
But yeah, go back.
the
I'm sorry.
third one, because I don't remember the name of the one that's got Urza.
Yeah.
I do
Ezra.
remember that he. Fuck.
Ezra.
Yeah, Ezra.
Urza is a magic dude.
God damn it!
It's
Why
okay.
are the names
Ezra.
so similar?
Ezra is part of a band, Better Than.
Yeah.
And I remember it very because I'm like the Inquisitor, brother 5,
Fifth brother.
fifth
Yeah.
brother, and
Third.
third.
No.
Seventh.
Seventh.
Um,
I forget my number.
she's
I
like,
got you, bro.
I can teach you the ways of evil. I'm like, well, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Also, how you know we hit season 2 stuff because they're more season 2.
They're in the yeah. They're
I'm
only
like,
season 2.
That,
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
that went about as well as
Until
it could
Maul
have.
shows up.
I guess. Third one has a character by the name of Rianne, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm done. None of this. I don't want it anymore." And she's like, "Then I'll go to the rebellion." And it's like, I don't want to shoot anybody. Actually, I know where I'm going to go. And then the last thing, she's like, "I need a place where the Empire will never go, ever."
Yeah.
And she's like, "I know. Alderaan sounds like a nice place to go." And I'm like,
I mean, it's still around.
"You've got a few years, but
A little while to be peaceful.
I like puffer problems.
I like puffer problems too.
I mean, it's got Lando, so
Yeah, I skipped around. I was like, puffer problems. I definitely got to read that one. Because it's my favorite episode of season 1. Idiots Are Raised so funny.
yeah. And then Lando's
Gives you
like,
the puffer pit.
let's get some puffers.
the so number 4, and I fucking wish I had remembered the name of these
Oh no, it's fine.
because it would make things easier.
I'm sifting through names as well because I'm like, oh yeah, which one was about that? Who was in that?
Is in regards to I think Wedge like
Oh, yeah.
leaves and he's like, "I'm gonna go and find like Iron Squadron people who flew with my dad."
Mhm.
And they're like, "Okay, yeah. Don't you ever fucking come back here.
Yeah.
You got your dad killed and we're mad about that."
Was it probably Sons of the Sky?
Probably.
Because that sounds like a Wedge comic name, if ever there was one. Yep. Sons of the Sky. 'Cause
And it's like basically him dealing with that.
Because I think that's actually a title from a Legends comic too. That's about Wedge is Sons of the Sky.
As about him like struggling with the rebellion in his place in it.
Yeah.
And
Son of the Sky.
Yeah.
Governor Price.
Oh yeah, Price.
Price. God, man.
Stupid Price. You'll get that when you get to watch Rebels.
Have y'all done
the
the Rebels book?
Which one?
The Dawn. What is it?
Oh, a new
Dawn?
New Dawn, not yet.
Oh yeah, I want to come back for that one. Y'all should do
A New Dawn, yeah. When that's down the line, but
You know, like if you're gonna do a Rebels thing, you should definitely do it.
I'll definitely, yeah.
Or when we do our Rebels line, we can do it as a companion piece,
Because A New Dawn is so good.
as a crossover. No, yeah, a New Dawn's really good. A New Dawn is Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, it's also the first it's the first canon book.
Because I was like, I thought Tarkin was.
No, A New Dawn came first.
Okay, cool.
Because it was a year before, like it was a few months before Rebels came out, and so they did that, and then Tarkin came out not long after.
Cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You were gonna.
The last one does not feature any action in it. It has either Kitsu or Sabine in it. And it's basically like her. I was like, why are you fucking hanging out with a man with no name? Because that's what the side character they're traveling with looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And he's basically like, yeah, I'm just here to like pay my respects to so-and-so's daughter. Also, here's the evidence that your son's been like undercutting your business.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I like this. This was nice. And they're like, by the way, at the end of it all, they're like, okay, yeah, sure. We told you never to come back here. You have 1 hour to get the fuck off my planet.
Also, but so overall, this comic is very much because you said that your biggest issue really is the art style.
No, it's not the art style. The art style's fine.
Oh, I remember you saying you weren't a fan of it.
I'm like, it is very reminiscent of the show, from what bits of it I've seen.
It's a little but like we talked about it, you can tell
It's really cartoony.
You can tell it's cartoony, but you can also tell it's a little bit cheaper because it was made for a magazine.
Yeah,
It wasn't, and a lot of these.
my
Yeah, and of course these are all like they got to fit into the single magazine. They didn't do like 2-part comics. They
Yeah.
did, like
That's my main issue with it. It's not that the stories are bad. It just feels like
brief.
Yeah, they're
very
shorts.
brief.
They're shorts.
I explained it was like, imagine if someone had like a bunch of side quests on a thing they had to go and complete.
Mhm.
It just feels like going through a bunch of side quests.
And that's
like,
fair.
The reason why is because it's for a magazine where they probably publish them one at a time.
Right.
Yeah.
So all of the stories have to be self-contained and
Yeah.
able to be completed.
Right, and
within,
you're
like-
not gonna, and it's a monthly content, so you're gonna get a new one next month. So
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about keeping up with anything
Yeah.
that you've missed.
It's not like you're waiting weekly and missing something.
Right.
And since they're all standalones, you don't have to worry too much, like you said, about like, oh, what did I miss last time?
Right. So I have questions.
Yes.
Yes.
Mainly for Seth.
Oh.
Not that I don't love you. I just
No. Yeah, we talk a lot.
So, you have not seen Rebels,
No.
and then you read this, which I think is interesting. I think
a weird
No,
place to come
but I
from.
think So first of all,
Yeah.
how long did it take you to get it? Like, because was it confusing at the beginning, or you just was like, okay, this is what this is?
Can you explain a little bit further?
Sure. Like when seeing Star Wars for the first time,
Mhm.
we don't know who anybody is.
Yes.
And it takes just a minute to kind of figure out the groove of what's going on. You figure
Mm-hmm.
out who's the bad guys, who's the good guys. In Star Wars, you get a little taste of that, so you know like who your heroes are going to be. But like you don't know, you don't know Kanan from anything, and
Yeah.
I
I
don't
remember he hung out with wolves, got blinded, and died in an explosion. These are the things I know about Caden
Right,
Harris.
right. So
I think he slept with the Twi'lek woman. 'Cause they have a
it's
kid.
implied. It's implied.
it's not implied they have a
They
kid.
have a kid.
It's implied. No,
Well,
they show
it's
the baby.
It's implied because we don't see it.
Oh, I know. We have proof. She does have a fuck trophy,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the coda. They show a 4-year-old.
Yeah, they show. Yeah, which
Um,
has never appeared ever again.
God, I hope
You better be in Ahsoka.
I want Jason
I
to show
hope
up.
They are living a peaceful life away from all the
Like-
bullshit.
Like literally.
Well, she's at Hera's in.
Yeah, she's in-
Hera's in. Ahsoka, so.
Constance said, "LOL, screw trophy."
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's a term you're not. Sorry. There's a learning new language today.
Yeah. The scroofy.
The
I'm
scroofy.
over here like, man, I'm fine with. I'm like, okay, these are the heroes. And I'm like, it feels to me, and I think this is more just because of how, like, it was when it was written and what it was written for, that the characters have some weird interactions sometimes.
Right.
Because it'll be like, there'll be a new character introduced in a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the two main characters, like Ahsoka shows up, and like Ahsoka and Sabine go on this like rescue mission once or twice, right? Well, because of how short it is, it does not feel. So Sabine has a thing about being underwater.
She has a few things.
This
but
is
that's one of them.
one of them. And throughout the story, it's like at first she's like, I fucking hate this. I don't like it. And takes a weird middle shift through the story to where she doesn't care anymore. And I'm like, okay. But the lesson of the story had nothing to do with you getting over your like distress of water.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's fine, I guess.
But like, so I think the main point of the question is, was this an easy transition to understand the characters, or did it take a little bit longer than, say, normally in another piece of media?
About the same, I guess.
Okay.
Because I'll go with the fundamental thing for me in stories. No matter what happens, even if like the setting has been previously established, unless I've been told a hard and fast rule, I go in with the expectation of, as far as you know, things do not work the same way.
It's true.
Yep.
Like, it's like, the sky is purple here. Like, that's one of those hard and fast things where it's like, okay, once you've been told that, that's, or like,
Yeah.
gravity is
Right.
weird here, or things
Yeah.
like that. Usually it's like, for the most part, you can imply certain things, like most of the atmospheres are breathable
Mhm.
because people will just walk around without like masks and such on.
Yeah.
And it's like, always go in expecting that you don't know a damn thing. So when new people or races are introduced, and it's like, the environment will tell you stuff, and it's
Right.
like, okay, yeah, I can believe that. I can believe that the people from a war culture in a destroyed world would wear a shit ton of armor and like respirators, because why not? That's
Right.
what you would do.
That's what you do.
Yep.
So, next follow-up question.
Yeah.
So, out of the Ghost crew, did anyone resonate with you? Is anybody you like?
Ooh.
My silence is not very reassuring.
No.
No.
I mean, you don't have to like it. I'm just
Yeah, no.
It's just, you know,
I
I'm gonna kick you out of my studio, but that's kidding. I'm kidding.
There's only one correct answer in my opinion, but I'm curious what yours is.
I'm curious what yours is.
I this is gonna sound bad because I forgot.
Without saying the name, it's the war crime. It's the walking war crime.
No.
I understand Zeb's annoyance at Chopper
I know.
Yeah.
because it's like, fucking, why would you do this? I'm like, it's like you're useful.
I think
but
Chopper's killed more things than anything in Star
Yeah.
Wars. I mean,
Yeah, that's why he's the walking war crime.
he is like. There's
the droid scrapyard. That was the other one.
Yeah, oh yeah, you like droid scrapyard, yeah. Chopper
terrifying,
surviving in a
so
Scrapyard.
you like Zeb, Chopper? Who do you like?
In truth, I don't like them, but I don't dislike them,
Sure.
and that's just kind of in regards to any of them.
You just need more time with them.
yeah,
to kind
like
of.
I don't,
Yeah, because
because this is one first exposure. Story's
Sure.
very short. I don't really know who these people are. This would be like if you looked at basically comprehensive reports of stuff they did,
Sure.
and they were like, "So how do you feel about them?" I'm like, I don't fucking know, man.
Gotcha.
I just read their report.
yeah. I mean, yeah, because it's not these comics definitely don't give real character development. Really.
No, well, I mean,
they're just
and they're not designed to. They're just
No.
here's an adventure, and this is what they do.
this is really these are really more for people who already love the characters and wanted more of them. And that's really what this is. And so, yes, jumping you into this is kind of, what we do on this show, but but
It's kind of one of my favorite things, just here's a thing you've never seen, enjoy it.
yeah.
Or here's in the middle of something.
And it sounds like you still found things to enjoy out of it, even without knowing these characters.
Lando and the train heist is not heist. The train robbery is a great one.
Lando is such a good character. Like, it's smart putting Lando in Rebels. And
Yeah.
I wish there was more Lando than Rebels, honestly.
Lando and Hondo are the smartest things that they can put in the shows.
Absolutely. Hondo's great.
The funniest bit from this is he assumes someone's identity on the train, and as they're all playing cards together, the mom is like, "By the way, I know you're not that guy." The person who designed the train, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Well, what do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, he's my son, so."
My favorite are all the code names Ezra gives himself throughout the years. I think some of them are brought up in these comics, but like
Yeah, most of the two biggest ones, he's called himself Jabba,
Jabba
and
the
Land-
Hutt, yeah,
Jabba the Hutt's
Jabba
the biggest
and
one,
Lando.
And so
my favorite is whenever Callus is like, "Yes, you are definitely a Hutt."
Or in the first episode, I'm the Emperor's nephew. You're gonna be really upset when my uncle the Emperor comes and gets you. So who's your favorite character?
I mean, I like Chopper obviously, but that's
great.
an easy answer.
Chopper's great.
I like
In the series, Chopper gets one of the best episodes.
yeah,
So
and then I like Kanan. I mean,
Kanan's my favorite Jedi.
yeah,
Like,
he's one of the best. Okay, it's a heavy discussion on the internet, but the Yoda line of Jedi suck. Mace Windu's line is better. His lineage is better. Yoda's lineage is Yoda, Dooku, Qui-Gon, Anakin, Ahsoka, and you can maybe count Luke.
No, I would count Luke in that.
I like how you skipped Obi-Wan.
Well, because
Yeah,
Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan,
Yeah,
Anakin.
yeah. So how does that suck? Because you've got Anna, you got
Your best Jedi are Obi-Wan, and maybe Qui-Gon in that, and Ahsoka.
And Anakin. Anakin was the greatest
Jedi.
No, Anakin was the greatest Jedi. He
No, he
falls.
wasn't.
He falls. Say it to the Clone Wars. Seriously, he was a hero of the Clone Wars.
But what did he do to be a hero?
He killed lots of things.
Yeah,
But
which is not Jedi.
No, absolutely, it's Jedi. It's war. The Jedi code is different in
But
the
I'm
war.
talking about if you go by the Jedi
Jedi code is
But if you go
Am I not wrong? Am I not wrong,
You're
man? They slaughter lots of
don't-
things.
But if you go strictly
I
by
don't agree with the spirit of what you're saying, but the truth
It's
of
not
it
about the
is
space. It's the truth,
fact.
right?
I
but
can't deny.
here's the Windu lineage. You got
Okay.
Mace, great example of a Jedi,
He gets his arm chopped off and knocked out a window. Whatever.
and then you've got Depa Billaba,
Okay.
Kanan.
I like Kanan. So what we
Like
got?
Kanan and Obi-Wan are like the best examples of Jedi. They live the code the best.
I think
Ty York better.
Ty York. He doesn't know Ty York though.
okay, so like I want to disagree. I'm trying to figure out how I want to disagree with that because I like in principle I get it, but then it's like Obi-Wan turns his back on the code to stay
Yeah,
and then so does Kanan, but Kanan lives
like he dies by the code.
uh,
He dies following the principles of the Jedi, as does Obi-Wan.
maybe.
And then Ezra, we don't know much about his post-Rebels, but Ezra during Rebels is definitely like up there.
Oh, hey, absolutely. His sacrifice is up there too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You'll find out that Ezra is Dr. Doolittle. He just speaks
Yeah.
to the animals.
We talked
wanna
about.
talk
I think
to
we
the
talked
animal.
about this a little bit.
Hello, Pergil.
Did we talk about this last week
Hello,
about
crazy spider.
Jedi communicating with animals? I can't
I
remember.
know that it's a thing that they can do.
Yeah, Ezra can do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We did talk about it because we talked about this with them.
I was like, we discussed it briefly, and I believe my exact words were, it's an ability that's useful, but it's very hard to use.
Yeah. There's literally only 2 examples in canon and legends that I can think of that are good at it,
And Ezra's amazing.
and Ezra's one of them.
like Ezra's like really amazing at
The
it.
other example is a character that you can choose to ignore having that ability, and that's the Jedi Exile from Knights 2.
I was like, it's one of those things that's like, you would hear about, and you're like, yeah, Jedi could probably do that.
Yeah.
They can do a lot of weird shit.
Yeah, because even Anakin failed to do it because he, somewhere to the first time Ezra tries to do it in the Rebels, Anakin got caught up in his emotions, and it's a very Anakin moment.
Right.
Obi-Wan's trying to teach him to do it. But we also never see Obi-Wan do it, and I think Obi-Wan even mentions that he struggled to do it.
Might disagree. I think the other line's better. I hate to say it. Because Kanan's in the other line. And I like Kanan and Ezra. I like them both. But I'm looking at like Anakin, Luke, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan is in that.
Yeah.
Man, that's tough to beat, brother.
And I guess you can include Rey because Luke taught Rey.
Sure, you could put Rey in that. And so you've got,
I guess-
man,
Yeah.
that's tough to beat, brother.
And then eventually Finn down that line because we're getting hints that he's definitely getting trained.
He's not coming back. They'll put him in books or something, but he is done. Boyega's out.
He's getting
Tapping it out.
battles, man.
Tap
I-
out.
But yeah,
They treat him bad. So take him out.
I understand. He says they've gotten better, which is good, but,
Sure, but-
I still understand him wanting to take a break from it.
I feel like the main reason, like why, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
the Yoda lineage is great, but it also has some of the
It ha-
biggest.
It has
Like-
some of the biggest fuck ups, to put nicely.
Yeah. I think it's because they're very good at being good for such a long time that the fuck ups, when they do happen, seem, I'm going to use the word cataclysmic, because of how bad some
Yeah.
of them go.
Because, I mean, Dooku was a Jedi until, like, he was in his 80s.
Yeah, it's
before
always
he-
like once they get to like their like 20s to like early 30s where they're like, maybe this is bullshit.
But yeah, Yoda, I mean, Dooku was in his 80s, and that's when he swapped. Like 80s, because he's around 100 when he dies.
Damn.
And so,
It's a very old Santa Claus.
I mean, the real man was also really old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they had to CGI a lot of his fights because
All of his fights.
yeah,
That's a lot.
it's why he mostly stands still in the episode 2 fight.
That episode 2 fight's so terrible.
On
It's the disco fight where it's just lights
like
in front of it.
I like it, but it's because it's so silly.
No, I tell you why I don't like it. It's because movie sequels should step up, and this step down. So we get.
Oh yeah, you go from duel.
You
to-
get Duel of Fates, which is still. I'll die on this hill. The greatest lightsaber battle we've gotten. Period. Live action or animated, still top tier. That's the top of the mountain. That echelon you got to beat. And so you would think they would try to top that. And Lucas's idea is like, no, I'm just gonna back off and do a CGI Yoda fight.
Now I am curious. Do you think the song does a lot of the heavy lifting though for that fight?
Watch it without the sound; it's still epic. The song helps. Don't get me wrong. The song helps because that's part of it.
I mean, yeah.
But I'm in it for just. I mean, from the moment that they just show up and take off robes, it's just badass. I mean,
I'm willing.
Darth Maul opens a door with a droid head and still kicks some ass while he's doing it.
I think I would put the Obi-Wan v Vader rematch.
I wouldn't
up
put it.
there.
I wouldn't put it above though. It's not above Duel of Fates. The stakes are different.
Yeah, the stakes are
The
different.
stakes in Duel of Fates make this so you get Qui-Gon's death in this.
Yep.
I mean, there's nothing that you can't top. There's no stake.
I mean, it's called Duel of the Fates for a reason
Right.
because it sets up so much of Star Wars.
And so, and don't get me wrong, I like the fight. I like the rematch. The rematch is good.
yeah, the Obi-Wan TV show rematch.
The rematch is good. It's brief, but it's good. But my argument is like you have such an epic lightsaber battle. Like Lucas was like, this is what I've always wanted them to do. Like in their prime, they
Yeah.
would,
And I think Nick Gillard is one of the I love Nick Gillard. He's a great choreographer.
Right.
I think he did a great job with the prequels in general. I'm kind of I kind of wish they brought him back for the sequels.
Sure.
Because he's still around. He still does this stuff. He's still
and also don't discount Ray Parker. Ray Parker,
Ray Park helped.
did a lot of that work too.
Yeah. Ray Park and Nick worked really closely to get that fight.
And made a beautiful. And so then you have to scale it back because you've got Christopher Lee, who's an excellent actor, but he's also in his 80s by the time he's doing these films.
Yep.
And so he doesn't have the maneuverability, and the effects are not great enough to do the stand-in that they want to do. And so they do a bunch of close-ups, and they put lightsaber lights in front of them, and so it's just like it looks like a disco. They're fighting, like in a discotheque, and then to make up for it, they do the Yoda fight. And look, I saw the Yoda fight in the theaters when it first, and I cheered because it's great to see Yoda dance
in his
around
prime.
in his prime, dancing around. Because the best part of
not
it,
in his prime.
no, the best
during
part of that though is when he's like he stretches and then pulls it.
In his prime compared to the original
Right,
trilogy.
right. And so I get it. Is it my? No, it's not my favorite, but it's good to see.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. I would never say it's my favorite fight. It's a fun fight,
But it's definitely a step down instead of step up.
Yeah.
I do agree that episode 3, which is not my favorite fight either, but it's still a step up from 2, and that's the proper direction. So
Yeah.
it's like it needs a step up. I like the lightsaber fight in not Rise of Skywalker, the Force Awakens. I like
that it's not really about the lightsaber fight. It's the temptation.
right, but I love Wounded Kylo, and I like he's reaching for the saber and it goes to her.
Yep.
And then it's a good fight between them. It's a really good. I'm into it.
Yeah.
I
That's
like.
a hot opinion, by the way.
It's a good fight.
No, I know. I think it's a hot opinion because of certain fans.
Right.
They're like, why did he lose? It's like the movie showed us why he lost.
Okay, I'm tired of explaining this, but I have a new audience, so I will explain to the new audience. All right, if you will watch Star Wars Episode 4, the one called A New Hope, Luke is on the Millennium Falcon, which is the ship that Han Solo drives, and and they're on their way to Alderaan, which they don't know is blown up, and Luke is getting some Jedi training.
Yep.
He's wearing a helmet, he can't see things, the thing shoots him at him, and Obi-Wan basically explains that like the Force will obey your commands, but it also augments your actions. So Rey's invalid the other side of it. So the Force knows what it needs her to do. It's going to help her out.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, she can do all this thing.
And
it's the Force. It can do it for all of us in the moment.
Yeah, And I mean, I'm trying to explain that even if you ignore that and you just look at just what's in The Force Awakens, they present to us the answers of why he lost. He's injured.
Yeah,
he's
Chewbacca.
he's also not trying to kill her.
Chewbacca just missed.
He's not trying to kill her either. He's literally doing a Vader and going, "Hey, join me."
I did like the fight in
I like The Last Jedi, but it's not a lightsaber fight.
No, the lightsaber fight in Last Jedi I do like when the post Snoke death.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying it's not a lightsaber fight because it's not lightsaber v lightsaber.
Yeah, that's not a duel, but it's still dope.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like
it's great.
I hate that movie, and I've been on record lots of times I hate that movie, but I do love that scene. I just hate it because of this stupid OJ chase. It's dumb, and just like I will tell Ryan Johnson that to his face. It's like, why are you OJ fight? Why? I couldn't think of anything better. I got you. I feel you.
Yeah.
Here, so I guess I'm just going to open the category of like
do
fights
it.
that I've seen through Star Wars.
Sure, do it.
And like in regards to the movies and which ones
Absolutely.
that I like and the reasons why, I agree from like a technical perspective, the first and best one is definitely Duel of the Fates with Maul and Qui-Gon.
Rightfully so, because
Yeah.
it's the first time like in almost 20 years we'd seen a lightsaber fight.
Yeah.
So it had to go up.
And it's like, well, yeah, this is what happens when three very skilled people fight each other
In their prime.
in their prime. If you fuck it up once, you're going to die.
Exactly.
And so that's it for. If we're going to count the brief encounter between Qui-Gon and Maul on Tatooine, which I don't, that is technically a fight, but it's more like a scuffle, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because they swing twice.
Right.
And, I'm
And then Qui-Gon
neither
jumps
of-
away.
And then they're both like, okay, goodbye.
Although Darth Maul almost kills the kid for no reason.
Anakin, get down.
Like,
Man,
literally,
Maul
Maul
sliced him in half in that.
Maul's like,
so
I'm
many
just going after the
problems could
girl.
actually have been avoided.
Like, Maul has no idea the importance of this kid, but he's like, I'm going to run this kid over.
I almost had him.
My second fight, the movie, fuck, god damn it.
Yeah.
When I get my sentences in
No,
order,
you're good.
It's all right.
I actually like Obi-Wan versus Django from the second movie.
Oh, it's good.
Oh,
fight.
yeah, that's
because it's a non-Force user going up against a Jedi.
Right, of
and
course.
they're pulling all of these tricks on each other because they're like, once again, I have to kill this motherfucker right now.
But it makes sense
Yeah.
because it's the Mandalorian versus the Jedi. And it's,
Yep. Well.
he's a foundling. It's official.
Yeah, but
It's official. Yeah.
founding doesn't mean he made it to Mandalorian, though.
He's a Mandalorian. I'm pretty sure that's implied in season 1, season 2 Mando.
It's like, this is a struggle, and it's a fight in the rain, which are always cool, as long as you don't
Hey, if
fuck
you're
it
watching
up.
in the chat, is Django Mando or just a foundling?
Yeah,
We'd
because
like to know.
I'm
I want
curious of the poll.
I want
results,
interaction.
too. Yeah, we're getting some constant interaction,
Good.
but I definitely want. Yeah,
Now for three actually has a lot of good ones, but they're not for like technical reasons, because all of those fights have emotional stakes in them,
Right.
with the exception
Yeah.
of Grievous.
yeah. Grievous is kind of.
Grievous is a
Grievous,
problem.
Grievous gets punked out.
Yeah, Grievous is a good fight until the end, where it feels very anticlimactic.
No, I like it. I like it because of that exact reason. It's like neither of them have their lightsabers, and this has gone from like a fight to a brawl.
And it turns out to be they only do it to make a joke,
Yeah,
and that's why I don't like it. It's
I like it because despite the fact that Obi-Wan fucking hates blasters, he's actually a really good shot.
because he's a Jedi.
yeah, because you still use the Force to get that to work right.
I can spin a bullet that way
I'm
too.
like, I'm like, why didn't...
What are your favorite lightsabers? Both of you. What are some of your favorite lightsabers?
I mean, obviously,
hold on. Let me go.
Yeah.
I know.
he was going through it.
Hold on. What? I just want to be fair. Like, how much Star Wars have you watched?
I've gone all the way...
Because I don't know
In
your
terms of movies,
yeah movies.
I've gone from
I think you've
episode
seen.
1 all the way to...
I think you've seen everything but 7. I mean 8. You stopped at 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Oh, so you've seen so you've seen most of Star
Yeah,
Wars.
so
Okay,
you've
cool.
seen up to 7. Yeah.
Cool.
Now,
Eighth
episode
is locked,
4,
you'll
there's
get-
only one lightsaber
And it's the
duel,
first one. I mean,
it's the first one.
it's the
I'm
first
like,
one.
how could you not like it?
and 77
like-
is badass. I remember. I was
Yeah.
scared.
And I like it because it's like these are two old men who, to me, it doesn't really look like they're trying to kill each other. It's more like,
I resemble that remark because Vader's like 43 in there.
Yeah.
I'm 45 now, so yeah,
he's
I'm old.
45 in an ICU unit. I don't think it counts as much of.
I don't know, but he's got the Force and robot
Yeah.
legs.
He's got
Like he could be
Like
going, he
Lieutenant
could be going
Dan.
faster.
Yeah, I'm like, it does. It seems more like
Lieutenant
they're
Vader,
playing
you
with
got
each
new
other.
legs.
But also, it's also a situation of it's a product of the time.
Yeah.
There's only so much they can do.
And it's and look, no one has ever seen anything like it. It was magical. I buy that 100%.
And once again, it's not
always
about
in my top 10.
It's not about the showmanship. It's about the stakes in that fight. Because it's the emotional stakes, like you brought up.
I like Vader versus Luke in 5, mostly because Luke just has the shittiest time on Cloud City.
He does.
It starts with, he's like, great. One of my friends is frozen in carbonite. My other two are being marched off to wherever.
Which he doesn't even know about the
He
carbonite
doesn't
yet.
know about that. Boba Fett sees him while he's sneaking around and has a shootout with him. And that's what leads into the Vader fight. Vader just waits for him in the hallway. He's like, hey,
Actually,
I'm going to beat your ass now.
Lieutenant Belvin was ordered to make sure Luke got his way to the carbon freezing chamber.
They were trying to point him in the right direction.
I just have this weird knowledge. Thank you to the Cypher card game.
Yeah.
It's not canon, but I think it's one of my favorite things.
And it's like, from there, it's like, okay, I guess I'll fight Vader now. You killed my friend, I guess.
No, he's mad.
Yeah.
And throughout
'Cause he
that
killed
time,
his father.
Vader starts
Yeah.
he's playing with him. He's not considering him a threat until eventually he's like, oh, okay, this kid actually knows a trick or two.
Yeah, because we start to
Let
see.
me fucking hit you with everything in the room.
Which,
Well, I
episode 5 is also the first time we start to see like a little bit of the showmanship that we'll get in the prequels, because Luke starts to do some flips and a few things here and there.
I think Vader kind of gets impressed.
I am a
with
sucker for people using...
He's of course he's impressed because he says it after All Too Easy. He when he knocks him in the carbon freezing pit and activates it, and Luke Mario jumps his way out of it.
So that's a good question that Constance just asked.
Oh, hey Constance, what's your question?
How powerful could Vader be if the suit didn't hold him back?
The suit actually isn't the problem.
It's part of the it's a technical problem. Because
It's also why he can't shoot lightning.
it's something that the Emperor brings up a lot, and it's that, man, I got this nice replacement shiny model, and now it's broken already. Like literally the first fight, it's broken.
It's on you, Emperor. That's on you, buddy.
And then of course if you bring up, I'm gonna bring up the dreaded word, but it's canon, so I'm gonna bring it up. Midichlorians. If you start to bring up the midichlorians and how it's part of the bloodstream, he's lost a lot of limbs, which means he's potentially lost a lot of the midichlorians.
I disagree with that, but
It's also not how blood works.
right.
But your blood is in.
Your blood comes from your bone marrow. He
Well-
has plenty of bones, last I checked.
No, he has less bones than
He has
had.
less bones.
Yeah.
He's got less because this is
Listen,
gone.
as long as that man
This is
is
gone.
eating, he'll get back there eventually.
All right, so let's say Obi-Wan defeats.
However,
Obi-Wan doesn't defeat Vader and Mustafar, right?
Let's say it's more of a standoff, so
Sure,
that way they
well-
both
They both.
go their way.
Yeah, Obi-Wan escapes. I think honestly, what would happen was when the. Did you ever play the Xbox?
Revenge of the Sith.
No, yeah, the episode 3 game.
No.
So there's a
There's
game,
an alternate ending.
and it's basically the Star Wars fighting game. It's another Star Wars fighting game.
oh yeah,
It's the Force Unleashed before the Force Unleashed.
Right.
Okay.
And so, but you can play the game and have Anakin win, and Anakin doesn't turn into Vader. He doesn't burn.
yeah.
And so the Emperor shows up and he's like, good.
And then he kills
just
the Emperor.
kills the Emperor. And so,
Like you wanted to
Yeah,
earlier in the movie.
Right. And so,
Well, because he states before the fight with Obi-Wan that to Padme, my whole reason is that I'm going to take over. I'm going to get rid of the Emperor. Like that's his whole reason for going along with this is to save Padme and then take the Empire for himself.
just because he wants to make it peaceful. See, this is what I like about the Sith guys. Like the Emperor is like, I just want peace.
That's kind of changed because we have that short story.
Yeah, but like for the most part, it's been like, look, I want peace, and I will do. But that's what's great about it, because I will do anything to get that peace, and that's what's corrupting about it.
Yeah.
And so he realizes, yeah, it's peaceful with his new empire, and then is like, then he lets his minions. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's just quiet now.
Yeah.
And then the rebellion happens because his minions are morons, and so, he just wanted one voice to make this happen, and then just like when you get the voice, he became silent, and his minions screwed it up.
Yeah. But I think Vader. I think that Revenge of the alternate Revenge of the Sith video game ending.
He does have
would
bones.
be,
I like that.
That would be what happened.
Yes, he does have bones.
So, I think the main reason that I'm going to say that I think that
That's
The
how I
main
can you have to
reason-
pick in them.
I think Anakin loses that fight in 3 is not because he's
It's not a skill
weaker
issue.
or less skilled. It's because he just doesn't want to kill Obi-Wan. That's it.
No, I think it's hubris.
Yeah, I think it's
That
hubris,
too.
and I think neither of them want to kill each other. That's the emotion of the fight. Neither of them want to actually kill each
But
other.
they're like, well,
No,
we're here now.
I disagree with that. Anakin wants to kill Obi-Wan. Anakin feels betrayed. Obi-Wan won't join him. He gets his wife to go against him to the point where he kills his wife. He kills Padme right there, and so I mean, she
Or at least
died.
in his head.
Yeah.
Well,
As far as he knows.
I mean, he kills her right. She dies of sadness right after.
Yeah.
God,
But I'm saying, as far as he knows, he killed her.
I'm sad.
Especially after the Palpatine lies to him and says,
I
yes,
hope
you killed her.
I hope someone retcons that. That's the one retcon I need. I need like
Yeah.
the dying of sadness.
You and the rest of the internet.
Well, just want dying of sadness is dumb.
6.
It shows
I mean,
George-
depression. Look, guys, I understand depression's a real thing, but she's got 2 kids, and
I mean, it's part of the continuation of George can't write women.
right. It's just absolutely. Amy, the best thing you've said on podcast. Bravo, sir. They should give you an award for that statement.
There's only one, once again, duel in episode 6. And once again, the choreography isn't great, but it doesn't have to be.
No.
But still
It-
good.
once again, it's
It's actually good for the time.
Return of the Jedi is once again emotional stakes. It's the emotional stakes.
Luke and Vader have 2 really good battles.
Yeah.
Even the ending of the hunt in 6. I love Vader. Luke's in the shadows, and Vader's like, "Okay, fine, no problem." Oh, by the way, oh yeah, your sister. I'll kill you and get her.
It's like, I'm
yeah.
just going to lose it right here
Right,
and
like,
now.
Which once again proves
Yeah,
Luke has a temper issue,
Because he's a Skywalker.
Yep.
Skywalkers have that.
Skywalkers have it, man. It's a Skywalker.
and he'll never lose it. So anybody who thinks that he lost it
so
later on in life,
You
is
like
wrong.
you like the original OG?
I actually do like the fight in 7 because of how fucking messy it is.
Right.
Yeah, because honestly, everybody's like, well, Ben is so like, because everybody talks about how Ben has been trained for all these years. He's still an apprentice. He's in his 20s and still an apprentice.
Right.
So
He's
like,
also been shot with like the biggest gun they could use on a
the-
person.
like they make a point of showing us that normal people fly when they're shot with it.
I-
bowcasters.
I like how this one
Also,
is
I see
also
bowcasters being like used properly.
Yeah.
this is also like a 2-on-1
Force Awakens.
fight as well.
Yeah, it's a 2-on-1 because it's Finn. Finn goes in until he's knocked out.
Yeah.
Finn tries. Good friend.
Good try.
Oh, the Force works, Finn.
Once again, like I said, I like it because it's sloppy.
Right.
It's sloppy and messy. Because, well, one of them's wounded, and 2 of them, while they've never held a lightsaber before, they're using what they know from other weapons.
Mhm.
And that is a thing you can do. It's like, you won't be as good at it, but you'll be able to hold your own for a little bit. And their objective isn't to kill him, it's just to get the fuck away.
I think it's a mix for Rey.
I mean,
I think it's a mix for Rey because
mean,
her only real mentor that she just met died.
she doesn't know that yet, right? No, she was there. She was there. It's been sorry.
Yeah,
It's-
she saw.
It's been a minute since I've been
Yeah,
there.
because her and Finn are at the top.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And
since
then
I've-
she yells no when
Yeah, I need to go. I need to go rewatch it.
Force Awakens is a
It's
fun
good.
watch.
It's Force Awakens is my favorite. My favorite of the sequel trilogy. So it's good. It's a fun rehash of A New Hope, but
Mhm.
like a fun rehash. It's not like
It's not like, oh, we're going to do exactly.
so. What about you, Gail? What your lightsaber fights?
I definitely, obviously, duel, and then
Oh, Duel's so sexy.
I like
I'd marry Duel if I could. I'd
I like-
father its children.
Battle of the Heroes and Revenge.
So that we're calling is that what they call it? Battle of Heroes?
That's the name of the song.
Oh, okay, cool. I learn something every day.
Because it's the Battle of the Heroes.
Yeah. No,
Anakin and Obi-Wan.
I get it.
And then I like...
It occurs to me that... No, I said I was only going to do the movie.
And then, of course, I like... obviously, I like the... Even though it's... Once again, it's not technically a lightsaber duel. I like Last Jedi's fight. Cause
Sure. I mean,
it's a great moment because I liked it. Me, Keontae, and who else was there? I think it was me, Keontae, and John. We watched this in theaters. Nobody knew what was going to happen.
It's the throne room.
Yeah, it's the throne room. At this point, my theory for Ben going in was Ben is a spy. Because obviously nobody knew what was going to happen in the rest of the sequels yet. My theory was that Han...
neither did they, so it's okay.
Yeah. I have disagreements on that, but...
We will never agree on that.
But I had a theory that Ben was basically the Snape of the Star Wars sequels.
Oh.
And he killed Han in a somewhere like Dumbledore fashion where Han knew the plan, kind of knew the plan, and let him...
I just don't want to be in these movies anymore. Just kill me. Just kill me off. I don't.
And so that was my theory. And then so when Ben does kill Snoke, like me, Keontae, and John are like, "Oh my god, he just did that!"
And killing you like Act 2, you're just like, what? I was excited. I was like, "Whoa, all right, now someone's fresh." Wasn't
because at this point it was like, okay, so Episode 7 was A New Hope. This is feeling a little bit like Empire, and then they do that,
right?
And you're like, "Oh, that's not Empire. This isn't even Return. This is." And then that fight afterwards just adds on top of the excitement.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Ben's like, "Oh no! I'm gonna be in charge now. I'm gonna do what my grandfather was planning. I'm in charge now.
I'm going to do the thing that the Sith always actually encouraged the apprentices.
Even
to
though
do.
I'm not Sith.
All right, so that's
two.
I do like that because it's a multiple opponent engagement against different weapon types. So they have to switch up how they use the weapons.
right.
And they've only got one lightsaber to go around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is a mess,
it's a fun fight.
which makes it very fun.
Yeah. And then Return just has a lot of...
You also, I mean, his rule is that he because he's not seen a lot of the show stuff. We have that. We don't have to.
Return would be my third one, but
So Return over Empire.
I like Empire. Empire and Last Jedi.
I'm persuade you. I'm just like, well, that's cool.
Like Empire and Last Jedi are my favorites. They're the ones that always flip back and forth between first place for me. But if we're talking strictly duels,
Right.
Return.
Gotcha.
Because it's emotional.
I got you.
I
don't know. The Empire, I like that kiss like the only reason why Vader cuts off Luke's hand is because he hits him.
Yep.
It's the first time he's felt a strike in
probably forever.
Since probably at least Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah.
And so that just pisses him, or Ahsoka, since
since
Ahsoka. And so like that just pisses him off. And that's why he cuts his hand off. He just goes, "Ow." Well, that's not gonna happen anymore. That's the only reason. It's
But yeah, and then if we're gonna talk TV, there's not as much good duels outside of Rebels, because Clone Wars doesn't have the best duels.
Which is a shame because they have all these Jedi. I mean, they focus a lot on the military, so the clones.
It's more clones.
The clones get the fight in that, but man, you got some good.
Because you got Ventress.
And who doesn't have really good fights. I mean, like you would think because she's dual wielding and they don't really give her a lot of good solo fights.
Like I would say the number one duel. There's two good duels, and they're both in the same episode.
Okay.
It's the Obi-Wan v Maul, which isn't really a duel. Actually, sorry, the Maul v John Favreau.
Gar Saxon.
No, not
he's a Saxon, right?
Not Saxon. Pre Vizsla.
Pre Vizsla. Sorry.
Yeah,
the family names are so many.
The Maul v Vizsla, and then later on the Maul v Sidious.
The Maul v Sidious is, I would argue, is the best duel.
Maul and Savage v Sidious,
because it is
which
that one is very much
it's dope,
flashy.
It is dope as hell though.
It's Sidious going, "Hey, I'm reminding you of your place,"
but it's also reminding everybody that Sidious is a badass.
Yeah,
he's just not this shallowy figure. He does get his hands dirty.
He does it if he has to, though.
Right.
That's the key.
He's like,
But he enjoys it.
Yeah.
I could just fucking go for it the entire time, but that's stupid. That's how every other Sith Lord has gotten basically killed
Caught.
before me.
Yeah.
So why don't I just focus on not doing that and doing a bunch of other shady
So
shit?
my question about that is that when that shows up, Maul is sitting in the throne,
Yep.
and then he says, "I haven't felt." He does basically the Obi-Wan, the
Obi-Wan,
Vader
yeah.
line, and then he looks at him and he says, "Master," and then Sidious shows up, and then the first thing he does is kneel.
It's like a estranged kid seeing their abusive parent again.
But so here's my
So
question.
he just goes right back into
Here's
that.
my question for you.
Yeah.
He suddenly goes, "I've built all of this for you," and if Sidious then Sidious says, "Hey, look, you have now become a rival," and he starts kicking the shit out of both him and Savage.
Mm-hmm.
However, because he took an apprentice.
Yep.
So if Maul didn't take Savage as an apprentice, still managed to do this, does he take him back?
No.
Well, no, because he's been replaced, and Sidious is looking for better.
Yeah, but Maul's pretty.
And also, I don't think, if we're going to be honest, I don't think Maul could have done it on his own.
I absolutely agree. This is why it's the big what if. But if
I also think Maul is lying. I think he's half lying. I
don't think he's lying.
I think he did it for him, but in a way of like, I want your approval, Dad, not a.
No, I think I think if Sidious opens his hand and says, "Come back," and then I think right then they murder Savage, and then they go murder Dooku, and then it's a whole different trilogy. Like
Yeah.
because that would have been better. Like on the ship instead of Grievous, it's Maul. Oh, shit.
we think Dooku's going to be on the ship, and
Right.
then they reveal, oh no, Maul's here.
I was like, oh, that would have been so dope. I was like, but because it's a very powerful moment that gives you a really good duel. I mean, because not only like Sidious is in his prime, and like Maul and Savage are great. Maul's a fantastic fighter,
And Savage is just dirty fighting.
right? But it's just nothing. I mean, Sidious doesn't. It's like he's in the Matrix. He's just Neo. He's got this damn. I can block everything because I've seen this episode. It's like literally what it is.
I also like the fight between Maul, Savage, and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Where Obi-Wan is taking the opportunity to
I keep
kick
telling you
him in the shin over and over.
I keep telling you, Obi-Wan's favorite trick is to stomp on the knee.
It's true.
Yeah, like Savage gets injured that one time, and then
He
Obi-Wan's
tries to
like,
kick Grievous in the knee, forgetting he's a robot.
Cyborg.
Because, well, sorry, yeah, cyborg. Because that's Obi-Wan's go-to. He's like, I lost my lightsaber, stomp that knee in. I'm like, it's a good trick,
But
it
Can't
didn't
walk.
work.
Can't.
yeah.
But
And then Rebels has some of the best duels. It's got obviously number one is the Obi-Wan and Maul.
I wouldn't put it my number one. It's my top. If I'm doing
It's strictly Rebels.
Strictly Rebels, it's like number 3.
Okay.
But it's up there, and like in my top.
I
five,
mean,
it's in my
obviously,
top
you
five.
probably got Twilight of the Apprentice as number one.
God, man, so there,
That's the other like up there.
like look,
I assume
Twin
that's
Sun-
That's the Ahsoka
Yeah.
Invader. Yep.
Twin Sons is beautiful. Twin Sons is
It's art.
It's art, and it's everything, and I wanted to and more, and it's beautiful. However, the emotional stakes in it are not the same as when Ahsoka sees Vader for the first time and says, "I'm not going to leave you this time," and she doesn't. And then the cracking of she just jumps up behind and cuts him in the face. I mean, I'm getting chill bumps because it's just so fantastic. And even the lead up from like when Maul is like killing everybody getting up to that fight. But Ahsoka v Vader is just fantastic. Just like it's my second favorite because it's like it's right under Duel.
Mm-hmm.
It's right under Duel of Fates for me because it's just the emotional stakes and I was in tears. I'm just like it's just oh my god. It's a cartoon show, man. I'm like
Yeah.
I was in my 30s when they showed up.
My tears were during when Kanan died.
I did too. I bawled like I was inconsolable.
I have a weird thing in regards to like fights
Mm-hmm.
that are like very emotionally charged throughout this series, and it's more like this sucks, I wish it didn't have to happen, still glad you're dead,
Yeah, they're Star Wars is very much like Star Trek in like when it comes to death. They're like death happens, moving on.
Yep.
And I think the reason why
Well, except for Kanan. They give us an episode
Yeah.
of Warren.
Yeah.
I'm like Kanan's is just unfair.
But it
But you've
it
not
was
seen
an
it yet,
important
so-
sacrifice he had to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, you watch it and you realize that whole episode is sad.
Yeah, especially when you
like it's so telegraphed that he's not going to survive that episode.
and then
like,
once you watch World Between Worlds, Ezra gets the perspective of why Kanan had to die.
right, because he was going to try to rescue him. So couldn't
Yeah.
happen.
He had to have that perspective of, oh yeah, if Kanan doesn't die here, the rebellion basically loses because Thrawn will win.
So can I throw up another lightsaber fight for the candidacy for
Yes.
like top 5? Ahsoka Maul, Clone Wars season 7.
Yes.
A couple of reasons. A, there's a moment where Ahsoka could just turn. Two, this is choreographed by Ray Park. This is it's mocap, so it's live action to animation, and it is epic. I mean, the fight is just beautiful to watch, and so
I wish Ray Park and Sam can work a little bit more together.
I
than
do too.
this.
I would be happy for a Darth Maul show. Because
I want a Crimson Dawn show showing the rise of Crimson Dawn.
I would
post
take it. I'd take
3.
it. Daenerys is not doing anything right now, right?
Yeah, show.
Or healing from that brain damage she's got, or whatever.
Oh, did something?
she had a stroke or something happened to her.
Oh, no.
not recently. Like when she was filming Game of Thrones.
Oh,
She has some kind of brain damage. She doesn't remember a lot, and so
is it similar to like Frank Muniz, where he doesn't remember a lot of his time on Malcolm in the Middle?
well, that's a little bit more exaggerated. He did a really good interview with Steve-O and about that, but it's on YouTube. You can find out. Like he explained, "Goes, okay, I do remember being on the show. It's just
not. It's just there's some blanks.
There's my spots." So.
Yeah.
So Ahsoka Maul,
yeah, that's a good
throw
one.
it again.
There's no fights in Resistance because it's the racing show.
There's no lightsabers in Resistance,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no lightsabers. The only lightsaber we see, I think, is a hologram of Kylo.
Mando doesn't have any good fights. I do like watching Luke kick the shit out of everybody in the end of the season finale.
Yeah.
but
And then, of course, the Gideon v.
I do like Ahsoka. It's not. It wouldn't be a top 5, but it's Ahsoka versus what's her face?
Yeah, the governor.
I just watched that recently. It's fun, very classic, like Japanese samurai kind of thing.
I like the Gideon v. Din, but it's not a big fight.
It's sloppy though.
It's
sloppy.
Well, Din
Well,
is
of course it is.
I mean, they're in a tight
right,
spot.
right? And but
Din isn't
and
exactly the best combatant.
and both of them are not like fighters. They're like he's like I have a saber and he's not really good with it. And
yeah, and Din
Din's
has
like trying to figure out how to
almost
use this
no
training with a stick.
with it.
So he's like, I'm just gonna whack you with my stick.
And then of course Gideon's like, "Hey, you win," because he wanted him
I
to
give
win.
up.
I give up.
Because he knows like Bo-Katan's gonna kill him for him, and then he can just take care of Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
I do like the Maul versus Obi-Wan fight from Rebels. And the reason why is, one, I'm a fan of fights that are like whoever gets there first wins.
Yeah.
But also because Obi-Wan's fucking with him the
Yeah,
entire time.
because he starts with the
Don't
young
continue to fight. I'll be
Obi-Wan.
right back.
Yeah, no, you're good. Starts with young Obi-Wan, which we learned the origin of young Obi-Wan pose Thursday. It's actually from Highlander. Sean Connery did it first. And then he goes to Qui-Gon to trick Maul.
Mm-hmm.
And then Maul's like, "Oh, I know the Qui-Gon."
It's like, I'm gonna use the same trick then.
And then as he's starting to go in, that's when Obi-Wan goes to new Obi-Wan to take out Maul.
Yep.
So yeah.
Also, I'm trying to remember. I think. So we discussed how like a lot of Star Wars is inspired by like old samurai Kurosawa films.
Yeah. You're good.
I'm trying to. I know it's one of my favorite like clips.
Oh.
I'm trying to remember which one it's from.
So let's see. We got Hidden Fortress is a key one.
It's not that.
Obviously not Seven Samurai.
It's not Seven Samurai. It's either Yojimbo or Sanjuro.
Which Yojimbo I think was a big inspiration. So probably Yojimbo. Was it for Star Wars Rebels specifically?
No.
It's just Star Wars in general.
It's just meant that in general.
I'm trying to think now which one it is. What Star Wars scene is it?
It's just very similar to the one between Obi-Wan and Maul.
Oh, there's a Yojimbo scene that's similar.
Sorry, kiddies. I had to go use the fresher.
No, you're good.
Either Yojimbo or
Yeah, we're trying to figure out which
And
Kurosawa film.
What happens at the end of that film is there's essentially a bunch of these like young up-and-coming samurai have hired the titular, basically the guy who's going by a code name.
Oh, it's Yojimbo then.
Yeah, and so they're like, the main rival is like, I don't have anything to live for now, so I'm just gonna try and kill you.
Yeah.
And the protagonist is like, hey, don't do this. There's no reason for us to do this anymore. And he's like, no, I'm gonna try and kill you. And he's like, okay then. And they just stare at each other for a minute. And it's whoever gets there first wins.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I
No,
seem to have drifted away from
Yeah,
the
you-
mic
did.
while I
You
was
kinda like-
shouting.
You just kind of go this way.
Yeah. But at least you're loud when you get away.
But when you shout,
But-
that's good. You can shout that way. But you want to
Yeah.
talk to it.
Yeah.
Make love to it. Just
Um,
be like Harrison Ford. Oh, so sorry. Didn't kill my wife and placed a Flockhart carbonite.
I like
Dun, 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 dun.
single stroke battles, and I'm like, Force users should always be throwing shit with the Force during fights. I'm like, Jedi should do that more often.
Yeah.
Fuck it. No one cares about honor, fight dirty, especially not the Sith.
Yeah.
If they could kill you with a firing squad, they'd fucking do it.
That is true.
They do that. That's the entirety of Order 66.
So I want to go more
It's
into
the galaxy's biggest firing squad.
I want to go more into what we've been up to this week.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So I showed you Highlander for the first time.
Yes.
And you've seen Highlander because you've talked about it
Well,
on the show.
there's an episode on the podcast of it. Yeah.
So rewatching it, I reminded myself that, Sean Connery does the young Obi-Wan pose before young Obi-Wan.
Which pose? There you go.
The one
For
that
the kids
everybody
at home.
Yeah. The young Obi-Wan pose that everybody knows. I don't think I had to explain which one, but yeah. Cause it's during the Kurgan fight with Sean Connery and the Kurgan. Which he loved that fight because of how over the top it is.
My cut has improved your voice.
Makes sense. They're both Scottish.
Yeah. So it's weird because Star Wars was already out.
Mhm.
Because you already had Star Wars and you already had Empire. And you had the original trilogy. The whole original trilogy was out by then because Highlander was 86.
Yeah, 86.
So by then you had it was in this era of not connected. But it's still you still feel some of the inspiration from Star Wars because the whole being able to tell when other immortals are nearby, that's very Jedi senses.
Again, after 77, everybody wanted to do their own Star Wars.
Yeah, but it's fantasy Star Wars.
86, yeah.
It's fantasy Star Wars. It is 86.
86, yeah.
So yeah, the whole original trilogy was out by then. It's fantasy Star Wars, but it's its own thing because it's made by these French filmmakers who probably didn't have as much connection to Star Wars.
The question I asked myself earlier this morning, because I was thinking about Highlander as well. For the time, would Highlander, in terms of genre, have been considered modern fantasy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's got fantasy elements.
It's
that
urban fantasy.
Yeah. Urban fantasy.
Well,
there
the
we go.
director of Highlander's Australian.
Oh, okay.
The only French guy in there, I think, is
I thought it was produced by Panzier Davis, which are French guys.
I'm on IMDb now. Let's find out. Peter S. Davis. Are you French? Where were you born?
And I was discussing this with you, and I'm like, it's actually a good thing Kurgan showed up and killed two other immortals.
Oh, and I didn't know Peter S. Davis died last year.
Yep, dead 79.
But yeah, it's
Because if they hadn't, they're just gonna hang out in New York forever?
Yes, until they all died off, because that was the meeting ground for the final, like, everything. New York seems to be the center point until 5. Oh, and let's see, 2 takes place in New York in the future of 2024. Which I think actually it was 2019 in one cut, but it's 2024 in the most recent in the Renegade cut. And then either way, the far distant future of 2024. And then 3 is
God, people from
3 is
the
New
past
York
must
as
be
well.
So disappointed that we didn't figure out a bunch of stuff between then and now.
3 is New York. Well, no, see, our future is still better. Well, I don't know if we're better off than Highlander 2 future.
Highlander 2, the future of that just happened.
Yeah.
Highlander 2 happens like...
Well, it's 2024.
Is it 2024? It's next year?
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. We should do the podcast when that comes out.
It is... I believe it's 2024.
Oh, that's plot stuff.
Yeah. But the one... It says 500 years after the... Come on, give me...
No, the it starts with the 500 years. Though.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the... Oh, yeah, 2024. By 2024.
Set in the year 2024.
Yeah.
So we'll do on the podcast in 2 years.
Yeah. But yeah, and then 3
Definitely
is
like
back in like modern day New York because it's 96. No,
I've only seen the first 2.
93. It's 93 or something like that. 93, 94 for 3. And that's the one where Mario Van Peebles is the villain.
Is that the Final Dimension or...
Yeah, Final Dimension / the Sorcerer, whatever.
Yeah, it has like 5 titles.
94. Yeah, it's 94. And then the American one, it's Final Dimension, I think.
Yeah.
Is the American title. And then 4 is Endgame, but that's after the show.
Is that where they get the show guy on it?
That's where you get Adrian Paul.
Adrian Paul and Christian Lambert team up?
Team up, and then some other stuff happens that I don't want to spoil.
Do they have to make out or kill each other?
What was the...
Oh, wait, no, I already gave you the synopsis. Yeah, they kill each other.
What was... I made a joke. So, the... What's the name of the...
Which, oh, is it in 1?
Yes.
So you got Christopher Lambert. Welcome to the Highlander podcast, by the way.
It's not...
Welcome to There Can Be Only One, a Highlander podcast.
You know, if that's not taken...
That's probably a title. That should be a title.
If that's
Stephen,
not...
you can host that one. We'll put that on the network.
Yes.
Stephen would
What
love
is
it.
the name
We go through the show.
She'd absolutely love that.
So you got I forget his other name, but you got McLeod, and then you've got...
It's not McLeod.
Duncan and...
Well, no, he's talking strictly Highlander 1. You got the Kurgan, you got Brenda. You got Juan Sanchez Ramirez, who's not
Egyptian.
My favorite description for this film that I love to throw out is you got a Frenchman playing a Scotsman playing a Spaniard Egyptian, and a guy from Ohio playing a Russian.
There Can Be Only One podcast.
Dang it.
But is it a Highlander burger?
It's the...
No, it's not. It's a podcast that...
McLeod's friend.
Sorry.
The one that he's talking about, like, hey, do you remember the last time?
Oh, where they talk about the... That's another bit that I was angry that the version we watched cut out, because I told you about that bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
Oh, go ahead.
talking
Oh,
to
Sorry.
his...
Okay. Hot take.
Yeah.
There Can Be Only One podcast. It's not a podcast about Highlander.
Mm-hmm.
It's a podcast that explores hypothetical bouts between your favorite fictional characters. Their last episode was April 19th, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's fair game to take it.
So, just saying.
The person you're thinking of, I'm trying to remember his name, Castigear.
So you do yours as There Can Be Only One with a number.
Yeah, but he's thinking of Castigear.
Castigear. Who is, like, when they show up on the bridge...
He pulls out the drink.
Yeah. I'm like...
Oh yeah,
They're like talking about what they've been doing, and I'm like, I've been fighting Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee in the slums.
Yeah, because he does look like he came out of a Jackie Chan film.
Yeah, this is immediately followed up after they go off their separate ways
With
him
one of the
then-
best flashbacks ever.
The best flashback.
going to the party and him getting shot over and over.
This is the World War II flashback.
Oh,
where he picked up
no. This is the party that the duel.
Yeah.
So sorry, not shot over and over. He's stabbed over and over. And then like I'm upset because there's a bit that's in the director's cut that they cut in the American version where the little servant for the guy that keeps stabbing Connor is like kissing up and sucking up, and he's like, "Aren't you gonna shoot him? Shoot him now!" while he's walking away. And then they fight over the pistol, and then he shoots the servant for like being annoying. But they cut that from the American version. There's a lot of stuff in the American version they cut. They cut the World War II scene, which explains how he met Rachel. They cut the zoo scene, which explains how Kurgan found Brenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, the version we had all that stuff in it.
So what happens is like there's the flashback after Castigar and McCloud lead up. You already know this. You've seen them.
Yeah.
Most people, I would think, have. I'm just a weirdo.
No. Have you,
And I mean, it's good to explain for the audience
Again, have you seen my podcast? Because that's the premise of our show.
And so what happens, at least in the version, Kurgan kills Castigar.
Yep.
He gets blown away by an Uzi.
That's a great way to describe what happens in that scene.
It's true.
No argument here.
Gets up and kills that. He lifts that man in the air, mind you, after being shot with an Uzi.
Highlander is a crazy film. It's from the 80s, and it's
Good movie though.
It's
It
an
holds up.
independent film. Like, and you can tell the budget's a little bit independent, but like it's a fun film.
Yeah,
They let
it's like a $3
McCloud
million
walk
movie.
out of the police station.
Oh yeah, they just let him walk out.
out.
Like that's something that there's no way 80s cops in New York would have ever let him just walk out of the police station.
I do like how they were ready to blow him Nash away at the beginning of the film, but they'll just let him walk out of the police.
They got no evidence. Gotta let him go.
80s cops would have held him. They would have beat him up some more, and
They did. I watched. I'm on a Michael Mann kick.
yeah.
And Michael Mann directed Heat and Miami Vice was his, and he's a really good like detective thriller story director. And I watched a film I've never seen.
Did he do Ronin?
No.
No.
It's a movie I've never seen called Thief. It's one of his earlier ones and it's James Caan.
Oh, your mom watched Highlander. She says it's a really good film.
Oh,
Where is it? Where's
She
it?
just commented on the YouTube channel.
All right. Hey, Jennifer.
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Jennifer. You're a lovely lady. And thank you for sponsoring this amazing podcast.
Yeah.
We at the Mopcast Network appreciate you.
Also, I'm kind of disappointed that I was the one that introduced you to Highlander if she loved it so much.
so I think it might have been a case of like the last time I saw it, I was like 9.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that might explain
Which
it.
that's a weird film to show a 9-year-old.
Listen, films
think I
I was
watched it
shown
first time
as
I
a
was a nine.
child were Krull, Star
Oh.
Wars Episode 3, Merlin. There was a weird Camelot thing. With
Can we talk about Kroll for a minute?
Yeah, let's talk about Crow.
That was like the fantasy movie I watched a lot growing up.
Liam Neeson's in that movie?
Yeah, he is.
We did. So the
Why
early.
Liam Neeson, now that I think about it.
Liam Neeson is a tender.
Taken?
Yeah,
I was also pretty young when I saw that.
Yeah.
Man, y'all just make
Oh,
me feel
you were
old.
young. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a weird thing. Like, I explained this to you one day.
Oh, she knows you from Battle of the Brains with Mark Dawson.
Oh, hi. I love Mark. Mark is so awesome. Mark Dawson.
I explained to
the
you.
Jeopardy champion, and I'm friends with the Jeopardy champion, and that's just very cool to say. So,
The Medallion was another movie with Jackie Chan.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
like
that's a classic one.
that is it. So, Kroll, though,
Yeah.
like, Kroll, okay, again, this is one of these movies where, like, oh my God, Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back made a ton of money. What do we got? And this guy's like, well, I got like I don't know, a fantasy Star Wars movie. We can, but like a frisbee of death. And they're like, Tron? No, not like Tron. That's a different kind of frisbee of death. And they're like, all right, green light it. And
It's great because the set, like the main conflict of the movie, right?
Outside of walking,
Outside, they do a lot of walking.
it's like Lord of the Rings, but there's like less conflict.
The opening thing is like, we don't actually, it's like, whatever, they want the daughter of the marriage.
You've seen it, right?
No.
Oh my God, we need to do it.
Is that one for the show?
It's something you need to watch.
It needs to be on the Catacombs, actually. It's a Catacombs.
it's more
movie. It's
Catacombs.
a Catacombs movie, which I need to get with Drew on.
Whoever gets the daughter of the marriage, right,
Mm-hmm.
is destined to like rule everything. And they're like, whoever marries her first and has the kid
It's
wins.
It's very
That's the win condition.
it's very much Star Wars inspired D&D.
Huh.
I mean, really, and I actually think you will love it. So
Yeah.
if you,
Yeah.
if you
the
'cause
opening
I mean,
rate
you
of that
sold
is
me.
great.
it's but it's not great, but it's fun.
It's not great, but it's very much. I think it's a movie where everyone had fun making it.
The last time I saw it was in college. We the first iteration of our podcast I did in college. It was called Bros, Booze, and Movies, and one of my co-hosts was like, "We're doing Crow." It was his favorite movie, and so I found him a copy at Walmart in a $5 bin, and we got video of him opening it, and it was all big. And we watched it in the school film lab. That's where we recorded.
Mhm.
And so,
Also, third Lord of the Rings. So I had 2 fantasy movies with big fucking spiders in them
Oh yeah, Return is
for like no
yeah,
reason.
Shelob.
yeah. Return
And I
of
was
the King
like,
is.
what is with women and hanging
then-
out with big fucking
And then
spiders?
and then
creepy.
and then Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, Middle Earth Shadow of War made it even more like weird because they're like, oh yeah, Shelob can be a woman.
I thought Shelob was because
Like no, they show Shelob and she's as a woman and there's they put some interesting feelings on that.
She hot.
Yeah. Yeah, hold
Hot
on.
spider lady.
I'll pull it up
Pull
for.
that up. I want to see the hot spider lady.
But yeah, like I said,
I want to see the Spider Woman as in Kiss of the.
I was really
Also a
young
great movie.
when I saw Taken for the first time, and I explained to you how I was like, why did they kidnap his daughter?
So he
It's
could.
not like he has any
Well,
money
'cause-
to give them.
No, they were
but-
gonna sell her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It was human
as a
trafficking.
child,
Oh, yeah,
I
as a
didn't
child, you don't get that.
understand
Oh,
that.
gotcha.
I was like, I guess for ransom?
Yeah,
Maybe?
let me pop this up for the audience as well.
Woo!
Let's see.
Y'all in for a treat?
I think it's window capture. Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is Shelob as a woman.
All right. Spider Baby.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, those were like, oh.
Apparently, Highlander's a big tradition in your family. Because apparently your grandparents also like.
Of course they
It's a
did.
good movie. The first one's really good.
Yeah.
I can't speak for anything after that, but like the first one's really good. I know locally in the Mobile area where we were recording, the card game was real popular back when in the early
Yeah.
Early
And then, of course, the
mid-nineties.
TV show raised that popularity for it a
Yeah.
bit.
Also, Star Trek 4, the one with the whales. No other Star Trek
which
movies.
which
just
we
the one with
just
the whales.
covered.
We just covered that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
How do you like that one?
It's good. I was
It's-
like, I didn't know whale noises traveled through time, but sure, I guess.
Apparently,
the sea life is
yeah.
fucked.
My problem is like Spock mainly knows what it is.
Yeah.
Like, weren't you just dead?
Pistol shrimps are
I
Like-
guess. Also,
You know what a
like,
pistol shrimp
also
is,
like
right?
whales have been.
No.
it is basically an undersea creature, and what it does is essentially it throws out a jab that creates a sonic boom.
Oh, nice.
They're about this like small. However, if that thing's ever the size of a person, we're fucked.
But yeah.
That's my next horror comic. More like that.
I still want to do that thing I always talk about, though. I want to make a sci-fi original. I want to write like a sci-fi style movie.
I have a title for one. Snaketopus.
No.
I want a Snaketopus.
I mean, it's
I could sell sci-fi on that
yeah.
one.
I mean, you could
Asylum.
sell anything to sci-fi / Asylum.
Snaketopus sounds great.
I mean, Highlander 5 was sold to sci-fi.
So you start Snaketopus like it's on a boat out in the middle of the ocean in an undisclosed area and it's raining.
Excuse me, I'm gonna go.
Oh no, you're good.
He's
Yeah.
gonna go to the fresher. It's fine. I just did that. It's great. It's wonderful in there.
And when you get back, we'll probably wrap it up.
So
Stop talking.
Yeah, we stopped talking about Star Wars.
the audience likes it. We give what the audience wants. So opening scene, Snectopus. You've got a boat in the middle of the ocean.
Lee says hi.
Hi, Lee. What's up, Lee?
Oh, his little brother.
Oh, how old is your little brother? Oh, that's terrible, Seth.
Hold on, give me a second.
Go to the refresher. I'll give you the
seven
refresher
brothers?
time to go to the refresher.
So, all right, so is it 8 children? Wow, go Jennifer.
Yeah. We'll give them time to go to the refresher to get the answer. We'll probably get the answer from Jennifer first.
Jennifer, how many kids you got? God bless you, child. I want to hug you. Got them through. Woo, girl.
But yeah,
I can't raise one child. I don't know about 7.
but you were saying.
So on the ocean, it is a boat. It's like there's weather, there's rain. They don't know what's going on. It's full of people from a nondescript country that speaks like maybe something Asian. So it's not like specific, but like like in those old movies, where like, is this offensive? Maybe.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm going.
Is this like kind of in the time? Like, is this when they would have said a different word for Asian?
Yes, they would. They would have said something offensive, like for the area.
Yeah.
That's opposite of Occidental.
Yeah.
And so you can still say Occidental for some reason. I mean, you can say Oriental when talking about a rug.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
Right. But anyway,
Yeah.
but I want them to, that's like, and then there's suddenly snake-topus tentacles just appear and just swallow the thing whole.
I want to make a really terrible squirrel horror film.
You should do that. and then we can fight.
It's the one that I was talking about at your birthday.
Yeah. I'm all into it. I'm all into
Squirrels versus. Let me look at the schedule for what's coming up, because I think there's some changes that we're going to be making. Because Star Wars Insider, we've been lacking on our Star Wars Insider content because we did not do last month's, and I feel bad because it's a Mace Windu.
Well, if you follow our show, I'd change stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I cut like 3 movies out.
Oh yeah, we can
Replaced it with Clerks.
Yeah, we could put Mace. We could do that next week.
Which made Stephanie very happy.
Yeah, we'll do Mace Windu next week.
Since we're wrapping up, can I do my plugs?
Oh, absolutely.
Hi.
Usually I do them.
My name is Scotty, and I'm the founder of the Mopcast Network. That's the podcast network that hosts My Star Wars Life, Cult Movie Cantina, Tuesdays with Scotty, and a few other shows. You can find us on any platform. We're on every podcast app. Seriously, and if we're not, tell me. I'll find out how to get on it, because I could be on. I don't know if I'm not on Farfanugan yet, but there's going to be one called eventually. You can see my smiling faces along with Caleb's and our other co-hosts on YouTube at youtube.com/Mopcast Network. We're doing TikTok now because we're hip with the children. We're doing the tiki-talkies. That's what the kids are saying, the tiki-talkies. And we're at Mopcast on that. You can see us do fun stuff and reviews and clips of the show and everything else. You can go to me at my website, scottywhite.com.
And normally I do that bit for you.
I've been
on
so
the show.
Yeah.
But on top of that, I also want to thank Gamers and Geeks
Thank
for
you.
giving us the location.
Thank you for Gamers and Geeks for coming, because for having us. Let me rent this space.
Yeah, you get to. So I borrow the space from you, and you rent it from Gamers and Geeks.
you earn it though. You produce for us,
Yeah.
so you're more than welcome to use the space. It's a nice
not
space.
Gamers and Geeks, not to be confused with the other thing, Geeks and Gamers.
Yeah, those guys are assholes. This is a great game show.
Yeah, Gamers and Geeks is our local gaming shop.
Yeah, if you're ever in Mobile, definitely check it out. It's cool. My toy shop's inside that, and
then we also got an arcade in the
the
back.
arcade, which you may hear sometimes.
Yeah, $10 for the day.
$10 for the day.
Free play. And then on top of that, right next door, even though they don't really, they're great. Engage.
Engage Gaming.
We got Engage.
Engage Gaming. It's great. If you do console gaming over there.
Yeah, console and PC. I think PC.
Yeah, I think they got PCs
and they got
over there.
VR.
Yeah, they got some VR stuff.
Yeah, we engage with them.
See, if they had Vader's, they don't have Vader's with the Vader's.
Vader Immortal.
If they had it, we'd be over there all the time.
I want to do the other games, the other ones that aren't on PlayStation as well.
Right.
The one where you go to Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
Tales from Galaxy's Edge. Anything you want to plug?
You doing a sitcom?
Nope. Okay. We were doing plugs. No, we're just doing plugs. I think that's it for the stuff here. Now to get to our stuff, you can find us on Escape Reality on YouTube.com/Escape Reality Films. You might be watching there already. Yep. And if you are, please feel free to like and subscribe. And you can find the links for our Patreon down below, which is patreon.com/Escape Reality Films. Thank you, Miss Jennifer, for.
It's Jennifer.
Yeah,
I just want to say you're amazing.
Thank you for being a friend.
Thank you for being a friend.
Currently, every week we are uploading some artwork from my comic that I'm working on. A little bit of previews of the work. I'll probably have that uploaded later today for
Cool.
this week's preview.
Our comic is.
Yeah, we're still in early sketches, and
Emily's got 5 more to color, or 10 more to color, and then Guillermo's got 5 more to draw. So
yeah,
I just got some layout stuff from that.
yeah,
So, different comic.
And what else do I need to pull? Oh yeah, Twitch, because a lot of people are watching on Twitch. Thank you all for watching on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/CJ Star Wars 94. And if you're watching from YouTube, I believe it's linked down below. If not, that's the link.
What's the CJ for?
It's my first and middle name. So the initials.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of become my go-to name for a lot of people is CJ.
We just call you number 2.
Yeah. And I know for sure that the Patreon and YouTube are linked. So if you're watching from Twitch and you want to find us on YouTube, that's a good way to watch the VODs for the recordings, because after a few days, Twitch gets rid of them. So a good way to keep a record of them is on YouTube. I think that's it. I think that's all the plugs normally. Oh, my books, which I'm basing my comic off of. So we've got Super Worlds and the Coat Wars, which is a collection of short stories. You can find those on Amazon. Those are the main sources for the comic. And then I also have a third novel, Time Ninja, which you've actually read.
I've read Time Ninja.
And that is also on Amazon. And
I have a copy. It's over there. It's signed by him.
Super Worlds and Coat Wars are sci-fi
I recommend it.
war
You should buy
stories.
Time Ninja.
Super Worlds and Coat Wars are basically if Star Wars met a Marvel film. And then Time Ninja is Highlander meeting a time travel movie.
That it is.
And so I enjoyed writing them. I'm actually working on a sequel for Super Worlds, but it's taking me a minute because a little bit of writer's block, but I've got the time now. But thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next week. Next week, I have decided that we are changing the schedule. We're not going back to High Republic. We are discussing the last month's Star Wars Insider because there's a Mace Windu short story. So we're going to do that. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
I have spoken. You're not going to say anything this time? There we go.